Matthew Morris here, Wood Studio, and it's Wednesday, which means it's time for another shop update. So I've been working on this Scotch cabinet all week, and I've got a lot of progress made. So let's walk through what I've been up to. Last week, when I showed you guys my progress so far, I only had those stiles glued in to one cabinet, as well as the filler pieces for one cabinet as well. So I was able to film the different technique for the second cabinet. So in the first cabinet, I took a smoothing plane and taking off 1/1000th of an inch or so every pass, fit the rails into the rabbets from the face frame. And that's a great way of doing it. And another way of doing it, which is to take a chisel and to chisel back and remove material to fit the stiles into the face frame. So I filmed the second, another alternative way of doing it. And now both cabinets are glued up with their face frames. The filler pieces have all been added. And then I brought down the levels of all the different pieces so everything's in the same plane. So for instance, on one of these cabinets, the rabbet from the sides of the cabinet was taller than the actual piece itself. Not by much, just by a little bit. So with a hand plane, I took everything down, and then I did a final pass with some sanding on these as well. Now I have two doors here, and they have raised panels in them. The doors are dry fit. I haven't glued these up yet, and did a lot of work to get these in. So not only did I mill up, well, I had milled up the stiles and the rails for the door, but I did all my joinery on the door. So Morris and tenon joints for the rails and stiles. And I raised the panel and fit the panel into grooves that I cut at the router table. Now, normally I would raise this panel using a hand plane. So I would start with a jack plane, and eventually, once I've gotten really close to where I want to be, move down to a smoothing plane, and then maybe even a card scraper at the very end for a last pass on the Wengate. So I have 3 panels here, and this panel was my test panel. And this time, instead of going the hand tool route, I went the power tool route for the build video. So what I ended up doing was building an auxiliary fence. It was tall, 12 inches tall, the full depth of my my fence on my table saw. And then with the blade angled, I was able to cut the bevels for the raised panel on all 4 sides. Why do I have 3 pieces here? Well, for me, when I'm building, I always mill up extra parts. So, for instance, when I did the doors, I actually have 3 sets of stiles and 3 sets of rails. And this is just so that if I screwed something up, which happens, you know, we're human, it happens in the shop. I'll tell you that on one of the cabinets I built recently, I showed you maybe a couple of months ago or so in the updates, I built 2 sets of doors because on the first door, when I was mortising for the rails here, I forgot to set the depth gauge on the mortiser, and I went right through the door. So those 2 parts went out, and my backup parts came in, and I finished the door off with my backup stiles. And those are both matched as well. So it cost a little bit extra lumber, but it's just a little sense of security, whatever you want to call it. That's how I do it. So yeah, these guys, the panels are nicely fitted. I'm really happy with the fit. There's room inside the groove all the way around both the stiles and the rails to allow for expansion and contraction of the panels. So doors are ready for me to do some final surface preparation, glue them up, and then cut them to their final length and fit them inside of the opening for the door. I leave my doors long all the time. And the reason for that is it's really easy to take them apart this way. You take a dead blow hammer and hit against this part here and just get the stile off of the rails really easily. And the other reason for that, or I leave my piece parts long, my styles that is when I'm gluing everything up, I can very easily, especially with a raised panel door here, I can take a square to the back over here and check for square on all four corners, and that will help me know if the stiles are square to the rails as well. In other shop news with the cabinet, I now have the cabinet project up on the website. Just a note to you about it. So the project's up. You can purchase the project. I know some of you guys are really wanting to do that, and so I'm releasing the project early. Normally, I only release the project at the very end, once everything's finished. But this time, and I'm going to try it out, something different. Obviously, this is only my third project, so I'm just trying things out here. But the first 3 chapters are up and ready to go, and those cover everything up to the point of gluing up the case for the first time. So those 3 chapters are up. The plans are not up yet. I will have those up by the end of the weekend, if not before. Knock on wood, cross my fingers. These doors will be inset and hung in the cabinets, ready to go by the next time we meet. If not, me already starting the crown molding around the cabinets. So this is really looking up. I'm really looking forward to getting this guy up and finished. I do have a question for you guys regarding the project. So I've got a couple emails this week, 2, so that's a couple. People asking me, am I going to charge a yearly subscription versus the a la carte method I have going right now? I've thought about it. I only have 2 projects up, which is the Gamble House living room armchair and the Gamble House side table. And I wanted to get more projects up before I moved to that subscription yearly price option for you guys. So is 3 projects enough? Is 4 projects enough? You guys, give me some feedback. I'm kind of curious what you guys think about that. How many projects do you think should you get in a year? So what else is going on here in the shop? Well, Matt Cremona and myself put up our 2nd episode of the Matt and Matthew show, and I think that went really well. I had a lot of fun doing it. I know Matt did as well, and it seems like you guys are having a lot of fun watching it too. So our 3rd episode, we announced on our 2nd show our guest for the 3rd episode, which is Paul from Canadian Woodworks. Now, if you guys have not seen his Instagram feed, you should. And if you've not seen his YouTube channel, you should. So I will have links to both of them in the description for the show and a link to the YouTube channel in the video right now. Go over, check Paul's stuff out. He and I have known each other for a while. I'm not sure how long. I'm trying to think about it. I was in the old shop when I had the condo before I bought the house. 3, 4, 5. I'm guessing it's 2010, maybe 2008, 2009. You guys should definitely go check that out. And he also, I'm going to give him a little plug here. If you guys are interested in building a rocking chair, inspired, and you don't mind getting on an airplane and going to Canada if you live in the States. If you're in Canada, you may have to take a plane too, but you can go out to Paul's place and you can spend a week with him, and the 2 of you will build a rocking chair. Until next week, I hope you guys have a great week in the shop, and I'll talk to you guys then.